This is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. On this week's episode, a legendary jazz singer and pianist, Shirley Horn. Shirley Horn had beautiful, lush vocals, and critics have said her voice was like a velvety garment. Growing up, she mainly collaborated with musicians like Miles Davis, Ron Carter, Carmen McRae, and Wynton Marsalis. She started out as a pianist at just age 4. She went on to form her first group alongside musicians like Ahmad Jamal and Oscar Peterson at age 20. In 1960, she released her debut album Embers and Ashes, which became a massive hit. That album also caught the attention of Miles Davis, who took her on as a band member. Following her stint with Miles Davis, she achieved nationwide recognition. In the years to come, more great albums followed, like Here's to Life, Light Out of Darkness, a tribute to Ray Charles, and I Love You, Paris. The above albums all reached number 1 on the Billboard jazz charts upon release. Shirley Horn was famous for her beautiful introspective music. Also, she was known for unique renditions of popular jazz classics. Shirley Horn won 9 Grammy nominations during her career. One of her albums, I Remember Miles, won her a Grammy Award in 1999. In 2002, she was also the recipient of the National Endowment for the Arts Jazz Masters Award. So that was a bit of insight into the biography of Shirley Horn. More details coming up. Also coming up, some trending festival and album news. Stay tuned to the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva to find out more. We'll be right back after some music. This is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. On this week's episode of the Jazz Update, singer and pianist Shirley Horn, her life and times and best hits. During this hour, we're going to be talking about her biography. Shirley Horn was a legendary singer and pianist of her time. She had a unique vocal style that won her fame nationally and internationally. She was born on May 1, 1924 in D.C. She was a musical prodigy. At just age 12, she was studying piano at the Howard Junior School for Music. Shirley would recollect in later years that even back then her passion was all about music. She later won a scholarship to the Juilliard School in New York City. She then began touring in local clubs across D.C. Her turning point came quite by chance. During one of those performances, one of the audience members asked her to perform an Ella Fitzgerald classic, which she did to outstanding acclaim. That was the moment, she says, she realized she had an affinity for jazz singing as well as for classical music playing. So she took up jazz singing and soon began to tour and perform with jazz musicians like Oscar Peterson and Ahmad Jamal. They would tour and perform in clubs and concerts in the city. She soon developed a distinct style with beautiful vocals and unique phrasing that won her massive acclaim. In 1960, Shirley Horn released her debut album Embers and Ashes. The album caught the attention of the jazz trumpet legend Miles Davis, who was immediately impressed. Davis got in touch with Horn and they began to perform together in concerts at the Village Vanguard in New York City. That partnership also opened up new avenues for Horn. She soon booked a gig with Mercury Records. She recorded 2 albums with Quincy Jones with Mercury, Shirley Horn with Horns, and Loads of Love, both released in 1963. Due to family issues, she dropped out of the music scene for a while, then re-emerged in the 70s. In 1970, she had another lucky break. She was performing for an audience at DC's Showhome Hotel at a musicians' convention. In the audience were a lot of concert organizers who were heavily impressed with her playing. That led to an invitation to perform at the North Sea Jazz Festival, which ended up landing her another contract at Verve Records. In the 80s and 90s, she worked alongside a trio of bass and drums, Charles Abels and Steve Williams on bass and drums, and produced award-winning albums like Here's to Life, You're My Thrill, I Love You, Paris, and more. She went on to win 9 Grammy nominations and a Grammy Award for her music. Many of her albums topped the charts upon release. Her album Here's to Life spent 16 weeks at the number 1 position on the Billboard jazz charts. In 2004, she was awarded the Jazz Master Award by the National Endowment for the Arts. Shirley Horn died on October 20, 2005, leaving behind a legacy as one of the greatest singers in jazz. So that was some insight into the biography of Shirley Horn, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. On this week's episode, it's all about the biography and best hits of Shirley Horn. And now it's time for some trending festival news. The Rochester International Jazz Festival is coming up on June 20th. This is one of the most popular jazz festivals in the country. And this year, the Rochester International Jazz Festival is celebrating its 22nd edition. Every summer, visitors from across the globe gather in Rochester for a season of festivity and celebration of the spirit of jazz. The festival spans outdoor and indoor venues. There's ticketed and free concerts, featuring more than 1,500 artists performing in over 300 concerts over a 9-day period. The venues are based in downtown Rochester and range from elegant concert halls to intimate club settings. Concerts feature a mix of local, national and international performances and a wide variety of musical styles. Also, there's a lot of great food festivities to look forward to. Also, every night, attendees can avail themselves of great jam sessions with the touring artists. Some names from the lineup: Smokey Robinson, Wynton Marsalis, Thundercat, and more. For tickets, please visit www.rochesterjazz.com. So that was some trending festival news on the Weekend Jazz Update with Shirley Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some of Shirley Horn's best albums of all time. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Weekend Jazz Update with Shirley Silva. On this week's episode, Shirley Horn, a leading jazz pianist and singer. During this hour, we're going to be talking about some of her best albums of all time. Here's a quick recap of what's coming up. The first one's a Grammy Award-winning album from 1992 called Here's to Life. This was one of Shirley's all-time best albums and demonstrated her skill at deep romantic ballads. Joining her on the album was Johnny Mandel, who also composed 3 of the tracks. The tracks are all about how life is an adventure, mingling joy and hardship. The title track went on to become one of Horn's best-loved classics. Another album called I Love You Paris that peaked on the Billboard charts upon release. This was taken from a live concert in Paris the same year and sees Shirley taking on more great love songs. Also, there are several guest artists on the tracks. And an album called Light Out of Darkness. This was released in 1993 and was a tribute album to another jazz legend, Ray Charles. In this album, she covers some of his much-loved classics with a unique twist. For instance, passionate ballads are covered with swinging themes and light-hearted songs take on a more dynamic emotional vibe. So that was a quick recap of what's coming up during this hour, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. Stay tuned. And this is Jashan on the Weekend Jazz Update, and on this week's episode, it's all about Shirley Horn, a leading jazz pianist and singer. During this hour, we're going to be talking about some of her best albums of all time. The first one went on to win her a Grammy Award in 1992. It's called Here's to Life, and sees a collaboration between composer Johnny Mandel and Shirley Horn. There's many things that set this album apart. For one thing, it was everything Shirley Horn. She was known for her love of ballads and romance and love-oriented songs. And the songs on this album are all about the facets of romance. Also, it's an album that talks about hope for the future. It's about the joys of life, how life is an adventure, where hardship and sorrow, joy and love are intermingled. Many of the songs here showcase Shirley's love of deep romantic ballads like A Time for Love, Where Do You Start, and the title track. Her covers of these songs are very beautiful. Johnny Mandel was arranger and composer on this album, and he was awarded a Grammy for Best Instrumental Arrangement Accompanying Vocal for the album in 1992. He composed 3 songs for the album: A Time for Love, a song about the joys of romance. The title track, Here's to Life, went on to become one of Shirley's signature songs. This song recaps the spirit of the album in a nutshell. It's a song about facing the hardships of life with a smile, and the promise of the hope for the future. A song about reflection. The singer is looking back at the journey of life, and she is moving towards the future with hope in her heart. Critics have described the album as timeless and a cure for depression. Another album released the same year called I Love You Paris. This album was taken from a live performance in Paris. What's special about this compilation is that there's even more emphasis on ballads on this album. Great classics like Do It Again, Wouldn't It Be Lovely, and All Through the Night. Shirley is accompanied by bassist Charles Abels and drummer Steve Williams on the album. Her vocals are quiet but very intense. The album starts off with a beautiful cover of Wouldn't It Be Lovely. This one's a song that talks about the singer's dreams for a partner who is both loving and witty. She transforms this romantic ballad into a playful saga of romance and dreams. A similar slow nostalgic ballad called Do It Again. This one's also a song of hopes and dreams. Shirley's dreaming about her one true love. The best song from the setlist was taken from a musical called Porgy and Bess. It's called I Loves You, Porgy. This one's a very sad song here. The lover is pleading with her boyfriend not to leave her for a different woman. And Shirley transformed this song with her vocals. Her piano accompaniment is also incredible. This album is a great piano vocal drum compilation and went on to top the Billboard charts upon release. Another chart-topping album, a tribute album to singer Ray Charles called Light Out of Darkness. This is a Shirley Horn tribute album to Ray Charles, a legendary singer and pianist at the time. She performs a variety of his best-loved hits, covering his classics in her unique way. Here also she is joined by bassist Charles Abels and drummer Steve Williams on the tracks. There's a guest appearance by alto saxophonist Gary Bartz on 5 tracks. So Shirley Horn infuses new meaning into each of the tracks. Ray Charles was famous for his fiery gospel theme styles, and she deviates from the normal way the songs are covered. She also plays piano and organ on the tracks. So that was some insight into some of Shirley Horn's best albums of all time, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan Silva. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. And welcome back to the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashan Silva. On this week's episode, Shirley Horn, her life and times and best hits. Now for some trending album news. There's a great new album up for grabs called Coro da Aguas, featuring some great Brazilian theme music. This one's a tribute album to Brazilian legend Ivan Lins. It's going up for release on July 18th on Alternate Side Records. On this album, it's Ryan Kebel and his group, the Collective do Brasil, bringing some of Ivan Lins' best gems to life, covering each classic in new innovative ways. There's dynamic, energetic pieces like Essa Mea and Lua Cirandira, songs that paint a dual picture of powerful grooves and fragile melodies like Rio de Carnival and Sai de Baixo. There's also some great compositions by the bandmates, a beautiful joyous samba tune called Quintessence. So Ivan Lins is a leading singer-songwriter from Brazilian jazz, and this album features 8 of his best works. Also, the chemistry between the bandmates is mesmerizing as they take us through each melody. For more information, please visit ryankebel.com. So that was some trending album news on the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. We are going for a short break. We'll be right back after that. When we come back, we are going to be talking about more of Shirley Horn's best albums of all time. Stay tuned.